audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Husband erased, wife wounded by unknown assailants. A 29-year-old man was erased and his wife wounded in a shooting at their Enterprise Chaguanas home on Monday night. Dwayne Robinson and his wife Allison Villalva Robinson were sitting outside their Goodwill home when a vehicle pulled up at around 8:45 p.m. Police said that the occupants of the Nissan 80 wagon opened fire on the couple. The couple then attempted to run inside, but Robinson was hit in the head and fell to the ground. His wife was struck in the buttocks. The couple was taken to the Chaguanas District Health Facility, where the husband was pronounced dead. Papa chased and erased by unknown assailant in Barrackpore. A Barrackpore man was erased yesterday after being chased down by an unknown assailant as he was liming. According to police, Richard Papa Harewood, 42, of 6th Avenue, Malik, was said to be in the vicinity of his home around 11 a.m. when the assailant approached him and pulled out a firearm. As Harewood, who was known to the police, sought to evade the assailant, he fled into a track leading away from his house. However, he was pursued by the assailant and several times. Residents contacted the police, who took the injured man to the Eric Williams Medical Sciences Complex in Mount Hope, where he was pronounced dead. Inquiries are continuing. WASA announces plan to axe 213 managers in restructuring exercise. Approximately 213 executive members of staff at the Water and Sewerage Authority, WASA, will be out of a job early next year as the first phase of the Cabinet-approved transformation and restructuring plan is rolled out. During a press conference at the Ministry of Public Utilities yesterday, Minister Marvin Gonzalez said the plan had only been approved hours earlier by the Cabinet. He said upon receipt of the confirmed Cabinet minute yesterday, WASA's chairman, Ravindra Nangra, would be written to and given the mandate to immediately commence the transformation process. WASA's executive management staff currently stands at 426, and the plan has recommended a reduction of this by 50%. Unable to say exactly how much this will cost the government, Gonzalez said, "Now that the instruction is going over to the board to implement the restructuring and transformation process, the board is to return to the Ministry of Public Utilities, and once I get the information and the instructions and the brief from the board with respect to the cost of this first phase in the restructuring process, that matter will be taken to the Cabinet, and I will be liaising with my colleague, the Minister of Finance, to get the necessary financing to commence the transformation process." Claiming the transformation was urgent and necessary, Gonzalez said, "We continue to have too many complaints." He said the board had compiled a detailed business plan for water improvement in each region, and he assured, "We are at a very, very good stage to roll out this transformation." Saying all external resources will be employed as the plan is rolled out over a 15 to 20 month period, Gonzalez said, "It is a transitional process. It is not going to as a serious and a chronic management problem." He said as the restructuring plan is continued later on and they move lower down the employee ranks, they will need a team of managers who are committed and share government's vision to improve the water supply overall. He said WASA will take on a new structure that will see 5 service areas with 5 managers who will directly report to the Chief Executive Officer. He said the level of management must be reduced to ensure WASA runs more efficiently and is not caught up in too much red tape. Assuring that no move will be made to reduce the 5,000-strong workforce before discussions are had with the recognized majority unions, Gonzalez said. Both the National Union of Government and Federated Workers, NUGFW, and the Public Service Association, PSA, had agreed WASA was overstaffed. Gonzalez said, "They have put forward on the table that when we have reached that point, they prefer the implementation of a voluntary separation of employment. I think there is a general understanding that there will be some displacements." He said the plan will bring WASA into line with modern operating systems and also lead to new job opportunities for both former workers who can be retooled and young persons seeking employment. Hopeful the restructuring plan will serve to reduce WASA's operating budget by 25%, Gonzalez said equally, the board is also mandated to ensure that its revenue collection is increased by $1 billion. Asked how feasible it was to expect this restructuring plan to be successful given that 2 previous attempts under different political administrations had failed to improve the entity's viability, Gonzalez said a transformation could not only focus on reducing staff, but must include a vision for a new entity, a business plan, etc. WASA Chairman Ravindra Nanga said at the lower levels, before any action is taken, negotiations will take place. Denying there will be any unilateral move on WASA's part to send workers home, he said the unions will be engaged in wholesome negotiations. Referring to the restructuring plan, he stressed, this is not a retrenchment exercise. He said it was a dynamic plan and extensive efforts had gone into identifying WASA's problems and shortcomings, adding that with very serious inefficiencies taking place and critical issues needing to be addressed, Nanga said, we are starting at the top. Gonzalez said he was committed to improving the utility service for all citizens. Residents of Barrackpore and Moruga staged protests over bad road conditions. Fed up of having to navigate through roads dotted with crater-like potholes, residents of Barrackpore and Moruga once again staged fiery protest on Tuesday, calling on the country's leaders to listen to their cries. Residents blockaded Gunnis Road in Barrackpore by burning tires and debris, claiming they were being ridiculed by the Princestown Regional Corporation. And in Moruga, residents burned tires in Laloon to highlight their disgust with the deplorable road conditions. In Barrackpore, residents came out at daybreak, attempting to light tires and drag fallen trees across the road, but were prevented by police officers who were waiting in the distance. A resident, Dionaran Singh, ranted. But as soon as the police left, the residents came out again and lit fires and blocked the roads with debris at around 8 a.m. The residents have been complaining about bad roads for a long time. It is getting worse, and last Friday, the Princestown Regional Corporation dropped off some boulders here to patch the road. We feel they are taking us for a joke because they cannot expect us to drive our vehicles over those boulders. He said Guinness Road linked Barrackpore to Moruga and was used as a main thoroughfare. He said vehicles have been damaged and children were now unable to walk the roads. In this community, children still walk to school, and now they don't know which hole to go in. It is dangerous and we are fed up, he said. 2 weeks ago, residents staged a similar protest which led to a meeting with Moruga Tableland MP Michelle Benjamin and local government councillors. Then the corporation started dropping off boulders on the road, but that is not the solution. Those boulders will damage our vehicles more than the potholes, Singh said. The frustrated residents held up placards calling for the removal of local government councillor Rafi Mohammed. The Express contacted Mohammed, who said the regional corporation was doing its best with limited resources. Gunnis Road falls under the purview of the Princestown Regional Corporation. Mohammed said following the protest 2 weeks ago, residents were called to a meeting where they were allowed to highlight issues affecting them. We did give them a timeline of what we intend to do, but this was delayed because of the bad weather we had recently. The backhoe did go in and cleared some drains and material was delivered. The corporation did consult with engineers and that was the material they recommended. It was to be rolled and then sealed with asphalt. We're just asking for a little patience, he said. Mohammed said the regional corporation had also reached out to the Ministry of Works and Transport for assistance. In Moruga, residents reminded the authorities that their community was referred to as the landslip capital of Trinidad and Tobago, and the recent rainfall, residents said, had worsened the road network. Resident Candice Jofield Julian said driving through Laloon village had become dangerous and residents were demanding better representation. She said taxi fares had increased by $1 in the last week, and although residents understood the driver's plight, traveling was becoming too expensive. Residents began burning tires and blocking the road with debris around 5 a.m., she said. The police came and allowed the people to protest peacefully. A maxi taxi was passing with security guards, and they came out and started protesting too. I saw professionals going to work and came and joined the protest. This is a difficult situation here, and something needs to be done, she said. Jofield Julian said residents protested over bad roads 2 years ago, but nothing was done to improve their lives. Moruga Tableland MP Michelle Benjamin on Tuesday responded to both protests, as Barrackpore and Laloon Moruga fall under her constituency. Benjamin said she visited Gunnis Road, Barrackpore 2 weeks ago following protest action and met residents. She said a meeting was held at the Rochard Douglas Presbyterian School where residents were allowed to raise concerns. The residents itemized their concerns, the main ones being roads and flooding. The local government councillors were at the meeting, and we immediately took action. The following day, a backhoe was sent in to clear the drains and watercourses, and we gave a commitment that the road would be patched, she said. Benjamin said although the Princestown Regional Corporation was starved for material and funding, material was dropped off for road works to begin. However, Benjamin said the work was delayed due to heavy rainfall. She said work would resume soon. Benjamin said the situation in Laloon was not similar to Barrackpore, as the area falls under the purview of the Ministry of Works and Transport. Benjamin said she understood the plight of residents as motorists were faced with craters and landslips. She called on Minister Rohan Sinanan to intervene and advise residents on when the roadworks would begin. She said there were at least 15 landslips on the way to Laloon and residents were frustrated. Benjamin assured residents that she would reach out to the minister for an update. Rigger erased on his way home from work in Claxton Bay. 30-year-old Tristan Brandon Wellington was returning home from work when assailants opened fire on his vehicle on Monday morning. Wellington of Southern Main Road, 3 Hands, La Brea, was multiple times in the head, face, and chest. He died at the scene. Police said Wellington had worked the night shift at a company in the Port Lisa's industrial estate and was returning home when he was ambushed near Prance Gardens, Claxton Bay, around 7 a.m. Residents heard the explosions and contacted the police, who found Wellington in the driver's seat of his Nissan Note. He was unresponsive. The area was secured as officers searched for the suspects, but no one was found. Wellington's mother, Lystra Wellington, said she was in church when her daughter called with the news. "I was in church, and when I saw my daughter calling, I knew something was wrong. She told me what happened," she said. The mother said she last saw her son when he left for work on Saturday night. He worked as a rigger, she said. Wellington was not married and had no children. His mother, with tears in her eyes, said, "I believe in my God. He is a good God, and I will have my justice. My son was a quiet boy, and I cannot think of any reason anyone would erase him."